Okay, so we got this thing emptied out. Thank goodness. You can see that it's somewhat empty. There's still some stuff in the corner that was on the sides that haven't been run out yet, but I'm going to run them out a little bit later today when I get done taking the links out of the back of, or off of these chains here. Me and Tim are working on that. I just got done greasing that bearing because it did not take grease last night. I guess it just didn't feel like it. But today it took the grease that it was supposed to take. You can see my repair kinda. So my battery went dead. Anyways, me and Tim are working on the front of it. I don't like the way this thing worked out. I mean, I just don't. You know that, Tim? Yeah. I don't like the way it worked out. The reason I don't like the way it worked out, I mean, I did get it fixed, and I did put that new piece in. I'm going to crawl under there and show you a little bit, but it's just, to me, I think that it should actually be a bigger shaft. I mean, that's 2 inches. I twisted it off, and, you know, I twisted it off here. Where is that piece? Piece is there, twisted off. But anyway, right here you can see where I welded the new pieces on. I extended it back past that and then welded it up there. And what I think truly happened, I thought that the other gearbox on the other side had a broken tooth in it, but it wasn't. When it's off of there and you turn it on the inside, it goes clunk clunk because there's nothing holding the center gear. It is a Planet style gear. There's 2 drives, obviously, on this thing. There's 2 drives, each motor, and these things spin rather quickly. I don't know what their RPM is, but it's pretty high. It's pretty high, depending on how fast you want the material to go out. But these things are zinging right along, and then there's a great big gear in the middle, which runs it slow. So I know when Timothy was turning the inside, these outside ones were spinning probably, I don't know, 15 to 1. It's pretty quick. They're actually small gears. They're only about that big in there. It turned about 15 to 1. So they're zinging right along, which produces a lot of torque. And yeah. So what I was thinking is, because we are actually going to be able to take 2 links out of this bed chain or this drag chain, I think what had happened was it became, there was so much pressure on the top side of this drag chain that it actually walked up the sprocket on the back side, pinching it into itself and snapping the shaft. I mean, that's just my theory. Yeah, and when I broke that center piece out of there yesterday and it bent that shaft, it just bent it a little bit, and it's true now. So I'm okay. And, you know, it's not a high-speed shaft. Everybody's like, oh, my God, you got to watch this Fenner guy, and he knows how to straighten out a shaft. I mean, if this was a drive shaft that drove a rear end in a car or a truck or a boat propeller, yeah, I'd be right on that. I would be right on that, but it doesn't. It turns extraordinarily slow. And there's no torque on it, you know, no torsion on it, because, you know, it can't be because of that pillow block. And I put that thing together correctly, so any of the bend that was in it, we pulled it back out again. Of course, it probably still has a slight little wobble in it. And I guess if it does decide to shear off again at some other point, well, such is my luck. Another funny thing is, people are telling me, get rid of that piece of shit, your money ahead, get rid of it. I haven't paid any rent on this thing. It was given to me to use to spread the fertilizer that is down at the hay pile for this corn crop this coming year. This spreader is valued at somewhere like $80,000. It's insane money. I find it to be very accurate when it's working, and I find it to be, you know, good for what we're doing. It is technically a litter spreader. And as long as you don't get rocks and stuff in there, I think you'd be okay. So I've decided not to follow the instruction book now when I go to use it, which the instruction said leave the gate down, turn it into the compression mode, which runs this thing at like, for 15 seconds, it pushes the material back up solid against the tailgate there so that it hits these beaters at an even at an even, what do you call it, well, timed evenly so that it's instantly spreading at the right rate. Well, if there's a rock or something that gets up against that tailgate, like, you know, I saw last night there was a rock there, that could have been part of what caused the problem. I don't see any bent paddles, which kind of gives me this idea that that wasn't the problem. I think it actually walked up the, I think it walked up the gear. But anyway, you don't want rocks and stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is not give a shit about entering the field at a perfect timing with this material coming out the back. I can always go around the field twice and deal with that. But I'm just going to raise the gate to its 36 inches where I feel that it's clear of everything coming out. And it'll hit the tailgate there, drop down onto the spinners, and spread it like it's supposed to. I am a little disappointed with this bearing business right there. I don't like that
bearing went on there. I ended up cutting off what was there and building a new piece to go on there. And it seems okay now, but still, it just seems undersized or whatnot. There's one major thing that really annoys me about this whole entire system, and that is, or not system, but this whole purchase of these parts, and that is that the guys that I got the phone call from yesterday, yes, I got a phone call. I didn't answer it because my phone was on silent. I was in the doctor's office with William, and well, what they said in the voice message was that the guys from was it Mill Creek Manufacturing, the people that bought Landco, was that they were concerned about how I mounted the bearing, the pillow block bearing, and that I had put the wrong amount of oil in the gearboxes on the drive gearboxes on that drag chain. Well, that's okay. If they would have given me some instruction, a piece of paper, you know, they make them every day, a piece of paper that says, hey, by the way, only put 8 ounces of oil in that gearbox, and this is how we really would like you to mount the bearing. What I got was, here's your stuff, thank you, which was cool. I talked to the fellow for a while that loaded my truck. Now, I'm not sure if he was the guy that watched the video or not, and you know, I'm not blaming him for anything. A little more information would have went a whole long way, and it didn't go a whole long way. It was just kind of, oh, there's a bit of welding. Okay, I can deal with a bit of welding, and here's a gearbox. Now, most gearboxes have a weep hole, okay? If you're adding oil to a gearbox, you usually take the weep hole off. You add the oil till it comes out of the weep hole. And that's the way these things work. And there is no weep hole on these nameless gearboxes. There was no instructions on what to put in them. But, you know, I don't have an instruction manual for this machine. It's just kind of retarded, okay? So I was only supposed to put 8 ounces of oil in there. Well, I'm going to drain it out anyway because there's still water in there from the last idiot that didn't check the oil and just allowed whether they filled it with water or it had water, or I know they had the vent in the wrong spot. Vents go at the top, unless of course this unnamed gearbox company has decided that, you know, we'll do something a little different and put it in the side. I don't know, but anyway, I am slightly annoyed about, you know, the experience that I had just recently on how to put these things together, because when you hand somebody parts and say, oh, there's just a bit of welding and good luck, that's what you get, a bit of welding and good luck. But anyways, on with the video.
Okay, so I drilled a hole right there. I'm thinking that it should have been a little bigger, but such is life. And I ain't happy about that hole. And of course, yes, we're good. But I don't really want to put these things in all the way. I just want to put them in there enough that they can fill that up. It just kind of annoys me sometimes. These people put these bushings in here, and then you get the owner, the guy that's actually owning it. Now they pay mechanics to work on these things, right? When you're paying a mechanic to work on these things, if it ain't taking grease, you'd think they try to figure out why not. Ah, yeah, there we go. Wow, she's taking it now. I don't know. I really wonder sometimes. I've been to many an operation over the years, and I mean, I'm guilty too. Something ain't working right, and you just kind of get on with it and fix it when you can. But I learned a long time ago that if you don't get it fixed, that's another. I mean, there's a bushing in there, but you know, the stupid thing is there probably should be one right there, and but I'm not even going to worry about it because I got grease going in. So the grease is going in, and that looks good to me, so I'm happy with that. But I did learn a long, long time ago that if you you know there's a problem and you just really need to get to work, and you just go ahead and you run it anyway, you're taking a 50% chance of not making it back with a piece of equipment that's still functioning, because a lot of times people just don't notice it, and then it's like, oh, okay. So just like that water that was in that, it's like the water that was in that, what do you call it, in that gearbox. That's foolish. I mean, I'm a little shocked myself that thing wasn't chewed up. And it wasn't chewed up. There was enough oil in it. There was enough oil in it. Come on now. Yeah, there was enough oil in it. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the farming commenting community over this, with the, with this spreader. Like, oh, get rid of it, it's a piece of shit, it'll never work right. You're just going to spend more money fixing it than you will. You're only going to fix it for the guy that owns it, not yourself. It's like, I mean, I'm pretty clear in how I operate. I mean, you see me every day on here. I'm very dedicated to YouTube for the simple reason I like YouTube. I like doing this job. It's more profitable than milking cows. I'll say that. It's just a lot less investment. What, I got a $600 camera, or $400. I think this one here is about $550. But when you are lent a piece of equipment and you know that there's been problems with the piece of equipment, and I knew there were problems with the piece of equipment in the past. I was unaware of some of the problems that I'm having now, obviously, or I would have addressed them earlier. I was unaware that the driveline had water in it. I mean, come on. I was blissfully unaware that the drag chain or the vent chain is too slacked, even though I did tighten it when I got it. But it was just, normally you tighten half an inch, it takes up about, an inch it takes up more than an inch. A half an inch takes up more than an inch with a 6-inch. I think that's about a 6-inch sprocket there, so it pulls quite a bit. So, I did tighten it up, and it's still loose, so we're removing chains so I don't have this problem again. And yes, when the owner of this machine gets it back, it is going to be better than when I took possession of it. Plus, I'm going to use it for a lot of acres. They're bringing me 20 tons a day of material up, which is, I'm going to cut back how many tons I put in. Okay, so I'm going to take these links out, make sure that everything is good to go, and when they get the machine back, it should be better than what it was when I got it. The machine does an okay job. I mean, it does actually a very good job. It's just learning to get to use a new piece of equipment, especially one that's been abused as this one seemingly has been. I've seen a lot worse equipment, trust me. I've used a lot worse equipment. I have lent better equipment and got it back in worse shape than this piece of equipment. I lent a lime spreader years ago to a guy, and they took it to, he broke it. He jackknifed the machine and bent some stuff. What a mess. And instead of saying, hey Wesley, can you come down here? I got a problem. Can you help me fix this thing, or can you fix it? Blah, blah, blah. He took it to a neighboring farmer where they welded a gearbox on sideways, which I could no longer keep universals or not universals, couplers on the gearbox. Just kept breaking and breaking and breaking. What a nightmare. Couldn't even go to work for a day without breaking that thing. So, yeah, and I encourage everybody, if you're going to borrow a piece of equipment or lend a piece of equipment, be very clear. If you're the borrower, you're the guy borrowing it, make sure it goes back in as good or better condition than when you received it. That way, you'll keep up a good relationship with the guy you're borrowing it from. If you're a lender and you're lending a piece of equipment to somebody, make sure they know the little things that could cause major problems, or the little problems that it has that can be repaired, easily before they become major problems. And that's just the way it works. I'm going to continue to use this machine. The value to me is worth more than if I'd have bought this thing brandy new. So there you go. Anyway, I got to get back to work.